In a quiet town where values still meant something and schools were second homes, there was one classroom that had always stood out. Not because of fancy walls or high-tech boards, but because the students in that class had one thing in common: ambition. They were competitive, fiercely so. If one scored 90, another aimed for 92. If someone stayed late to revise, the other stayed later. These weren't just students, they were dreamers in uniform. And their parents? Oh, their parents beamed with pride. Open house meetings were filled with applause and compliments. But everything changed one warm Monday morning. That day, a sleek red Ferrari purred into the school parking lot like it had taken a wrong turn into an entirely different world. Out stepped a boy, designer shoes, glossy hair, and sunglasses that looked more expensive than the teacher's monthly salary. His name was Zayyan. Nobody said a word that first day. But by the second day, the whispers had turned into gasps. They all waited near the classroom windows, watching his car pull up, jaws dropping in synchronized envy. He walked in slowly, confidently, as if the hallway was his runway. During lessons, while the teacher spoke about equations and empires, Zayyan would lean back in his chair, open the latest model of a phone they hadn't even seen in stores yet, and play games. Loudly. At first, the others exchanged glances, unsure how to react. Then came the cookies. Triple chocolate, imported, still warm from the packaging. He handed them out like royalty gifting his subjects. "Come sit with me," he said, patting the desk beside him. And they did. Every break became a game session. Chess, racing, some app only he knew about. Laughter replaced focus. Assignments were copied, homework forgotten. Slowly, the academic fire that once burned in that classroom began to die down. And the teacher? She noticed. She saw once promising students slipping, bright eyes dimming, and worried parents showing up more frequently, begging to know what had changed. But she didn't scold. She didn't punish. She waited. Until one morning, the class walked in and gasped. There was a huge screen set up at the front of the room. The lights dimmed. And the footage began to play. At first, they didn't understand what they were watching. It looked like security camera footage, grainy, real, raw. But then they saw faces. Familiar ones. A girl in the front row suddenly recognized her father, hauling sacks twice his size in a construction yard. Sweat pouring down his face, but not once stopping to rest. Another boy saw his mother, kneeling on the side of a road, selling vegetables under the blistering sun, refusing to drink water so she could save money for school supplies. Student after student watched, mouths open, as their parents toiled under unforgiving conditions, washing floors, cleaning windows, sewing clothes until their fingers bled. Not for themselves, but for their children. The classroom was silent, save for the soft sniffles and choked sobs. Even Zayyan, for the first time since he arrived, wasn't playing a game. He was watching too. Unblinking.
What?
Then the teacher's voice came over the speaker. "Every smile on your face has been paid for. Not with gold, but with someone's sweat. Someone's sacrifice. Every grade you ignore, every chance you waste, is a slap to the people who gave up everything so you could have this life." The screen faded to black. And for a moment, time stood still. Then one of the boys, normally loud, energetic, stood up. Quietly walked over to the trash bin, and dropped his phone in it. Others followed. A girl clutched her notebook like it was treasure. Someone whispered, "I didn't know my mom did that for me." Another murmured, "She never told me. She never complained." Zayyan? He walked up to the teacher after class. eyes moist. He handed her a small flash drive. I used to think money meant power. I've never even seen my parents work. They never let me. That video. I want to learn how to make one like it. To show them I finally get it. The teacher said nothing. She just smiled and nodded. From that day on, the classroom wasn't the same. Not in silence, not in discipline, but in purpose. The laughter returned, but this time, during group studies. Phones came out only to record revision tips. And at the next parent meeting, there were tears again, but this time, tears of joy. Because for the first time, their sacrifices had not gone unnoticed. They were honored. Not with flowers or medals, but with effort, with gratitude, and above all, with change.